2020, and we're actually just still in our series here. It's been an amazing series so far. I think everyone can attest to that. But it's actually how to be the best you. And both Wendy and Jenny have been putting on this series, and it really is allowing us to take a deeper look on what's going on, right, on the inside. Because we all know that in order to be successful in all the things that you're wanting out of life, it's best to get this figured out first, and then obviously encompassed with your heart as well. And so that's some of the things that we've been learning. And so today is very unique. And by the way, I need this lesson more than anything. I'm very curious to find out. Today's topic is journaling and meditation. And I'll just read a couple little things here that really they relate to me, and hopefully they relate to you as well. But are you struggling with sleeping at night? I definitely do. Dealing with just emotional pain, family issues, potentially stress and anxiety. I think during this time we all fit some portion of that. So today it's going to be an enlightening evening. Again, Jenny and Wendy are going to be helping us learn the benefits of journaling and meditation to actually help us out with these experiences. So without further ado, take it away, ladies.
Okay. Well, I will start by sharing my screen. Okay. Today, as Rob mentioned, we're going to be focusing on journaling and meditation. And I will just go ahead and tell you that Jenny is probably our resident expert on this, more so than me, but we'll see if I can hold my own here. So we'll start with journaling. And there's two schools of thought that, hold on, please. Sorry about that. I have a young man who's standing here staring at me, waiting for me to respond to him, not getting the clue that I'm not available.
That's what you get with live events. That's
yes. Right. So anyway, two schools of thought, writing versus typing when it comes to journaling, which is better and why. We tend to think that writing is better because it allows you to process better what you're writing. You're thinking about things that you're writing about. And so therefore you're feeling things more, the emotions, the thoughts. It also makes you be more creative. And I think it just kind of helps your subconscious come out a little bit more. So you're able to bring things to the surface, to your consciousness that you wouldn't normally want to do or be inclined to do. However, that being said, if journaling is tough for you, if you're struggling with getting yourself to do it on a regular basis, then by all means type, because doing something in terms of journaling is better than doing nothing at all. So if typing helps you stay in the habit of doing it and makes you feel like you have time for it and so on, then we would rather see you type than do nothing at all. And so that's something, journaling and meditation are very much a works in progress for me. So I find myself, if I feel like I have enough time, I'll write, but I also have a journal that I keep on the computer because there's just times when writing is laborious for me. I write a certain way and I'm not one who can just scribble things out. And so when I write, it's a process for me to do it. And so if I don't feel like I have the time to do it, then I just won't do it at all. And so therefore I kind of go back and forth between writing and typing. But I definitely find that I get more satisfaction and more results when I write versus when I type. Jenny, did you have anything you'd like to add to that? You're muted right now.
Can you go to the next page, please?
I sure can. So there's kind of two parts to journaling. There's thinking about your goals and your dreams, and then there's writing about your goals and dreams. So when you're thinking about them, you're using the right side of your brain, the right hemisphere, and that tends to be the creative side of your mind and yourself. Whereas, and so then you sit and you think, and all these things come to your mind and whatever. But if you don't take the time to write them down using the left side of your brain, the logic center, chances are good that you won't remember what you wrote or what you thought about. And so therefore it's just kind of abstract, and it's just out there in the universe, in the world, and you don't really have any kind of handle on it. So when you write it down, that makes your mind think about it logically, and then put some steps into place that you can follow, and things you can come back to help you follow through on those things that you are always thinking about. And then it also provides accountability for you, and it allows you to go back and see the changes that you've made, because the more you journal, the longer period of time you journal, you can go back and you can tangibly see the changes that you've made, because your writing is going to be different as your journaling progresses.
Absolutely. You know, one thing I just wanted to add in is, how many people here have had an amazing idea, almost quite frankly, a breakthrough in your mind when you're driving, when you're just getting ready to go to bed, maybe even when you're like taking a shower? I know I've had some aha moments, but just in those moments, how many have had something like that happen? You forget to write it down, hours go by, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was life-changing, and yet I completely forgot what it was I was thinking. Has anyone else done that other than me? Anyone?
Yeah.
Potentially? Yeah, I see a few people.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Journaling is extremely important, and I've actually learned to keep a notepad. It's kind of crazy, but I have a notepad next to my bed, because I'm one of those people that wakes up in the middle of the night, and I've actually solved a problem. I know it's crazy, but call it divine, call it, the fact that my brain hasn't gone to sleep yet, whatever it may be. It's good to do those things. And as you said, Wendy, it's the only thing, as long as you're going back and looking at those things, you can learn from those experiences as like building blocks. So I do appreciate that. And Lorianne, you said you had a question earlier?
I totally missed. Did you have a question or a comment that you wanted to make, Lorianne?
Did Lorianne freeze?
Oh, I think maybe she is frozen.
Okay.
Down.
Okay. All right. We'll keep going.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to add, like, really, when you, like, the physical act of writing, when you put like your two fingers together and you really like keep doing it every day or for a while, you're actually creating new neural pathways, and you actually really strengthen that creative side of yourself to really get to that creative center of yourself rather than typing. So when you put like pen to paper, something like magical happens. And that's why I prefer writing instead of typing, because it just, I'm able to really tap into these deeper layers of my feelings when I really put pen to paper. Is Lorianne back?
I like that. No, we'll keep going forward until she connects.
Okay. We kind of touched on this a little bit, the effect of journaling on the subconscious, but it just, like Jenny said, it creates those neural pathways, which reinforces what your goals and dreams are. And when you're writing them down and you're going back and looking at them, it just cements in your mind what it is that you need to focus on, and what you need to do to kind of speak those goals and dreams into existence. And when you're going back and looking at them all the time, it keeps it fresh in your mind. Again, working on those neural pathways and keeping you moving forward. Jenny, anything else?
Well, you can go to the next page. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, like with the subconscious mind, with journaling, it really actually helps you to get access to your subconscious. What I said before, to get access on these deeper layers, on what's actually really happening in your subconscious. Because sometimes when we're just speaking or typing, we can't really access our subconscious mind. So we're actually operating from our conscious, from our willpower, from our logical mind. But that feeling mind, we can't access through only like thinking. And that's where the journaling is really, really beneficial, to actually get to these deeper layers and really find out what's happening. So some journaling benefits is reduces scatter in your life. You get more focused, increase your focus, and you can have more stability in your life and empower yourself. And that actually all happens through actually accessing your unconscious. So you get a deeper level of learning, order, action, and understanding. So for me, sort of journaling is also helping me to make a plan for the day, really writing down what I need to do, what is the most important thing that gives me the most result in that day, what is the one thing I need to focus on. Then we've got holding thoughts still, so they can be changed and integrated. Yeah, it's just basically, that's what meditation and journaling does. It just slows your mind down. It just gives you that slower process to actually access all these feelings and to get to a higher vibration. And you can also release pent-up thoughts and emotions, and bridging inner thinking with outer events. So when something is happening and you feel you find yourself in judgment, or you feel guilty or ashamed about something, you can actually journal and come back to that non-judgmental place and bridge that gap to the event and to your feeling. Detaching and letting go of the past. Yeah?
Someone described this to me one time. We were actually doing a course on mindset, and they were actually saying that when you think of things like in the past, things that anchor you, problems, things that are like emotional barriers, when you just continue to think them through, you're really not experiencing breakthrough. But by writing them out, by truly journaling all of these obstacles, and you see them on paper, you actually start to realize that these things are exactly what they are. They're just words and thoughts from the past, and they no longer need to have power over you. And so I thought that was a great connection to think about that.
It is. And also for me, what journaling did for me is also to find out patterns, to find patterns where I actually go back to the same thinking, where I could find my old programming that was coming up all the time and that wasn't serving me anymore. So it really helps you to discover where are you stuck, where does that old thinking come in over and over again. And then you can go and actually change these beliefs. And then allowing you to approach the past with today's adult's mind. Because something might have happened in your childhood or when you were a young adult, and you didn't have the resources and the ability to actually, process it or get through it without, like focusing on the event. So it really helps you to actually go back and say, hey, what actually happened and how can I see it in a more compassionate way? How can I be more compassionate with myself? How can I forgive myself and others who were involved? Just that looking back on the event and taking a different, better approach. I see Lorianne is back. Mm-hmm. So you had a question, Lorianne?
Sorry about that. It does do that every now and again. It takes about 5 minutes to reboot, but it's back again. Thanks.
Did you have something earlier that you wanted to ask or comment about before you froze?
I actually did, because I was talking about, you guys were saying typing versus writing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, for some strange reason, find myself more creative when I'm typing than when I'm writing. And I love to write, but the thing is that because I'm a quick typist, my thoughts come out as quickly as I can think them. So I tend to find that. So I think it's not, yes, writing is wonderful, it's therapeutic, but to me also typing is, because it's like playing a piano. So I really think it's really, again, what we use, the mindset. It depends on how your mind works, what you're most comfortable with. And for me, like I said, when I started typing and learning how to type without looking at anything and being able to type, was like playing a piano. So for me, that's creative. And I get creative when I write that way. So I just wanted to say that it's interesting. I think it's how your mind works really that makes you want to do whatever you do, how you do it.
Yeah.
My daughter on her, and I won't keep long, but my daughter prefers to write. I prefer to type.
And I'm
Yeah.
with you, Lorianne. I much prefer to type too.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, there's so many people that'll be watching this later in the audience that actually do neither, right? And
Mhm.
so I guess the best advice would be to do both, kind of switch back and forth and see which one actually provides just more benefit and fulfilling, you know.
Mhm. Or
fulfillment.
if nothing else, just keeps you doing it. You know,
Exactly.
if writing is too, takes too much time and you feel like you just can't take the time to do it, or you don't have the energy to do it, if typing helps you stay in the habit of it, then by all means type it,
Absolutely. But we have no excuses because the people before us used to chisel their ideas out on stone.
Yes, the Rosetta Stone. So, all right. Well, Jenny is going to take it away, and she's going to explain the focus wheel process to us by Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. With journaling, it's like with everything, it just needs to become a habit. So if you can do it 30 days, every day for 5 minutes, then you're just getting in the habit of doing it. Because this is when you really feel the benefit, when you actually do it on a regular basis. Because I meet people and they say, oh, meditation doesn't work for me. And then I ask them, oh, how long have you been doing it for? I tried it twice. And I'm like, well, if you really want to have the benefits, you need to keep doing it. Maybe it's hard in the beginning, but if you keep doing it, it will become easier and easier and easier, and you will have more benefits from doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna introduce the focus wheel process by Abraham Hicks. Probably know Abraham Hicks if you look it up on YouTube. It's actually one of my favorite sort of spiritual teachings. I'll always go back to. It's like I like when I learn something new and find myself running into a challenge. I always find myself going back to Abraham Hicks. It's like I did the other day. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. I went back to Abraham Hicks. So yeah, the focus wheel process. It's like a journaling technique. So you can use journaling techniques if you want to. You don't have to. You can just use, just write down how you feel, whatever. But if it helps you, there are lots of journaling techniques out there as well. And the focus wheel is basically, the purpose is to shift you in a higher vibration about a topic, basically to a higher point of vibration. You use it when you have something you want to feel better about. Like when you have something like money or your relationship and you're not actually feeling good about it at that point, or you feel negative emotion about it, you can use it to actually have a higher shift your vibration about it and get into a more positive emotion. And you can do it. Yeah.
I just wanted to make a quick point of clarification. Does everyone, when we talk about shift your vibration, does everyone understand what that means? Does anyone have a question about what it means to shift your vibration?
I think it'd be worthwhile expanding a bit on it for people that may not. I agree, Wendy.
Okay. You can go ahead, Jenny, or if you want, I can say something about it.
Yeah, you can say something about it.
There's actually a chart, which I should have probably included and didn't think about it, but you basically have like a zero threshold, and then there's things that are underneath it, which cause you to have a lower or a negative vibration, and then things above it, which cause you to have a higher or a positive vibration. And so if you think, if you think about when you go to a concert, for example, or something where there's a lot of people and a lot's going on and you feel the high energy in the room, that's like a higher vibration. Or if you were to go, let's say you go to a funeral or something that's kind of a somber event and the room feels heavy, that's your people are operating at a lower vibration. And so everything has energy, and people say, well, yeah, sure it does. But if you look at it in terms of, going to something really exciting where people are, really involved and active, you can feel the energy, the positive energy in the air. And then, versus like going to a funeral and you can feel the heaviness. And so that kind of gives you a hands-on example of, yeah, there really is energy in a room, and it can be positive and it can be negative, and you can affect the energy in the room just by the way that you look at something or think about something or feel about something, the things you say about them. And so that's what we mean when we talk about shifting your vibration. And Jenny, if you want to add more to that, feel free.
Yeah, actually, Abraham Hicks says, she calls it a scale of emotional set points. And it's like a scale where you see like different emotions, and the negative emotions like, fear, guilt, shame are on the lower level. And then the higher level is like, happiness, joy, and excitement, all of these kinds. And then you can look at the emotional set point range and see where you actually are. And that's why she says, sometimes not all negative emotions are bad, because if you're moving up the scale, like for example, anger is being better than being depressed, because it sort of means you're moving up the scale. You sort of have some movement in the scale. And so this exercise is really created to move you to the upper parts of the emotional set point range, where you get into happiness and joy and excitement, or sort of feeling hope as well. And yeah, so if you want to look that up, it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, so true. And I mean, just keep in mind, I guess the best thing to remember about the vibration scale is that it goes in both directions, right?
Yeah.
It isn't just like you've got this base level and then you need to accelerate or move it to this higher point. And also remember that energy, and you've stated that perfectly, that energy can feed in both directions, meaning that if you're pumped up and excited, the room's going to be pumped up and excited, more than likely. But if you're down, if you're, as you said, depressed, and you draw that in, that vibration can actually go throughout the room as well.
Yeah, that's what we call the ripple effect, where your outer environment feels your vibration and they actually react in a certain way to it.
Sorry, Jenny, can you say that again? What effect is it?
Well, it actually, your vibration affects your outer reality, so your environment. When you're like really happy, sometimes you meet someone who's actually down in lower vibrations and he gets angry because you're happy. But if you're sort of like meet people who are vibrating on the same sort of scale, then it's going to be, it matches. But it's actually, yeah.
I was just saying, it's called the ripple effect.
Ripple effect, yeah.
That's what she was looking for, I think.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Now I've got Isabella here sitting with me.
Yeah. And I think you cut out, at least for me, right about the time you said it. And so then I think that might have been part of it too.
Okay. All right. You can go to the next page, Wendy, please.
Yeah. I was trying to do that for you, finally.
So this is what the focus wheel looks like when it's empty. So you basically have a circle in the middle where you write the topic you want to feel better about. Maybe it's money, relationship, whatever it is. And then you've got like 12 fields around it. So it's like a wheel. It's like a merry-go-round. All right, you can do the next page. All right, and how it works. So you write that in the middle, for example here, I want to look in the mirror and love what I see. Some people, you know, they write in the middle something like money or something, and then they want to straight go to feel better and think, you know, abundance is flowing to me in every way. But sometimes we don't believe it. Like we don't believe that we can be a millionaire. And then we have to choose something, a thought that we actually believe and that feels a little bit better. So in this example, for example, the last thought is, every day I get closer and closer to loving every part of me. And this person might not believe this straight away. So it's actually better to start with a thought that's easy, that's general, and where you can jump on the wheel. So you just have to get on the wheel. And the wheel works because Abraham says 17 seconds you need to focus on a thought to create another thought. So you need to focus 17 seconds on a positive thought to create another one like it. So you will see it when you try it, the thoughts will just come in automatically. So this is the first thought is, I like looking in the mirror when I wear the blue dress. And this is something the person believes. She might like to look in the mirror and like to see herself in the blue dress. And that dress makes me feel amazing. Just thinking about it makes me smile. So it basically works that way, that you just find a thought that feels a little bit better. You don't want to go too up, too high, because then it's not something you believe that you can actually do. Sorry, Bella's talking away here.
We're learning a lot from her, so that's okay.
All right.
Good vibration.
Yeah.
That's a good vibration.
Yes. Hang on a minute. So yeah, that's how it actually works. You know, when you write in the middle money, the first thought that comes in, for example, I believe that I can actually make more money. And then another idea might come in, like, I can make more money by, you know, creating another product, or, you know, doing this, or contacting this person. And it will really help you to get into your subconscious mind. And these thoughts will just come, because when you focus on it for 17 seconds, the next thought will pop in. And that will really help you to move up the scale. It will help you to get on the wheel and to actually get to that really good vibration, where you actually have that thought, that abundance is flowing to me in every way.
Right. What's great about this exercise too is that you realize that the thought you first started with isn't necessarily your end game, right? In other words, I like money because, or I want more money. And then as you start working through that exercise, you start realizing that at the end of the day, it's not really the money that you're looking for, right? When you get into stage 9, 10, 11, and 12, it's actually the fact that I like it because I'm able to help others. I'm able to do more things in life. I'm able to
Yes, exactly. And it just will help you feel like, it will help you feel better about the subject. And yeah, like you said, seeing the bigger picture, seeing what it actually is you want to have money for, or you want to help people. And this is why you're actually, you know, focusing on it. And so, yeah, you can do this exercise whenever you want. So you can do multiple a day if you need to, but it will actually really help you to shift everything quickly. When you have a negative emotion, sit down, write down what you want. Don't write down what you not want. Like, you want to focus on what you want. Like, you want more money, or you want a better relationship, or you want to love yourself more. And yeah, so I think it's a great exercise. I love it. I'll do it all the time, and it really helps me to not feel guilty about things. So yeah, anyone have any questions about it? I'll just check the chat.
I like it. Does everyone see that this could be a tool that you would be able to use and it would help you out a little bit? And even if I know there's different variations of the focus wheel, so, but it's the premise of it, right?
Yes.
And maybe you don't have to, if you're overwhelmed by the fact that you see that there's 12 different spokes, so to speak, or pies, make your pies bigger and make fewer of them. I think the point is not necessarily doing 12, but just getting yourself thinking in that positive light about the issue at hand.
Yeah. But I think, if you try it, you will see that actually, if you just let go and relax, the thoughts will come to you. As soon as you write that first thought down, there's going to be a next one, and there's going to be a next one. So yeah, because I had that same thought when I first thought, I'm like, oh, how am I going to write 12 things about this topic? And then it was just like, it just flows. Once you're in that sort of, doing it, then it just flows. All right.
Okay.
So if there are no questions, we're gonna move on. You wanna do that, Wendy?
Yeah. So now we'll transition into meditation. So a lot of people, and I was one of these people that thinks that meditation is kind of an escape from the real world into a more abstract realm. And it's like, oh, God, I can't do this. This isn't working for me. But if you go about it with the right intention, it can really help you get to know yourself better and connect to your true self. And some of your unconscious or subconscious stuff actually starts to come to your awareness level, into your conscience. And, maybe you're not, who is it, the Dalai Lama, or, the monks who can sit and meditate for hours and hours a day and change their biometrics and all that kind of stuff, make themselves, heal themselves. But if you focus on doing it once or twice a day, even if you just start out for 5 minutes, and maybe you do guided meditation, maybe you do guided meditation where you're, focusing on your head, and then you focus on your neck and your shoulders. And the point of it is just to relax yourself enough so that you can think about, just letting things go and getting in touch, with your emotions and yourself. And eventually it gets easier and easier to do, and you'll be able to do it for longer and longer periods of time.
So like the main intention is basically also to stop the momentum that you're in.
I was
Just really stop and get into that stillness, and again, go into that higher vibration and just get a new momentum going.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. Would either Wendy or Jenny be able to do, so if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm really stressed out, and I do use these techniques, but for other people, just even that moment, would you be able to show a technique, like actually demonstrate it? I think that would be kind of cool, because it doesn't take long, right? It takes sometimes just even 10 seconds to still your mind.
Well, yeah, that's what we actually talk about here. It's like, it's very simple. You just close your eyes and focus on your breathing. And if the thoughts come in, you just let them go. You just watch. It takes practice to do it.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought if you could actually demonstrate, just even for people who wouldn't understand, like a 10-second type of bring down from the stress. Sorry, I might be asking the wrong question, but I thought that maybe it might be helpful to people.
What I would recommend is going on your phone and downloading an app called the Insight Timer. And that app gives you all kinds of different types of meditation aids. So there's anywhere from someone who will say, okay, now you need to focus on this part of your body, and just focus on how, what it feels like right now on the top of your head. And so it'll take you all down through the body. So there's things like that that you can do. One I like to do is, it says think about like go to your happy place, so to speak, and then it tells you words and different sayings and things, and it tells you, okay, you focus on, like for me, I just have this beach that I go to, or a pool or something, and I have all these different colors of blue, you know, the turquoise and all that. And so then it just tells me to focus on this and then that and the different details of that. And it's very relaxing. Or then there's just music, you know, that's supposed to help you get into the theta waves and the delta waves and that kind of thing. But the nice thing about the Insight Timer app is that it keeps track of not only how many minutes a day that you meditate, but it keeps track of how often you meditate. And so then it kind of sets you up with, oh, you went so many days without a break in meditating. And so it kind of keeps you accountable. So I would recommend something like that for people who are, especially people who are just getting started. I found that to be very helpful. And I think you can have as few minutes as like 10 or 12, and you can go all the way up to like 45 minutes of different types of meditation events, or, you know,
right,
sessions that you can go through.
And that's what I recommend as well. Like when you're first starting, you can use guided meditation. Mm-hmm. And when you're getting more advanced, you can just use the process I described here, that you sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, focus on your breath, mm-hmm. and still your mind. And just, if thoughts are coming in, just watch them go without judgment. And you can, like when you're first doing it without guided meditations, you can do it with eyes closed. And then the more advanced you get, you can sort of, you know, have your eyes half open and soft your gaze. So this is like what we call Zazen meditation. But this is really like for people who have been doing it for a while, because I know that when you have your eyes open, it's really hard to actually focus.
Yeah. One of the things, so and again, this kind of goes back to my years in martial arts, etc. But it's changed a lot, right? So my techniques of meditation have changed a lot over the last 30 years, actually. And guided is a couple points I wanted to bring up on that, Jenny, was a lot of times people cannot find themselves in this, you know, this state of meditation, because when they close their eyes and they go silent, they're actually starting to think about all the things that have to get done today, right? They're starting to think of all these things, all these other obstacles that they have are starting to actually come back. And so guided meditation is a perfect way, like you said in the beginning, to move yourself away from that so that you're actually listening to instruction. And this is a really cool technique. I do want to just throw it out there for everyone. I recommend every person try this. Just try it and see how it works. You can really kill two birds with one stone, because we know that we are our own worst critic, right? We talk about that all the time. And that's why self-coaching really doesn't work. And so an interesting thought is to record yourself with all kinds of positive affirmations, all the things that you love about life, yourself, your family, love itself, all those things, and actually play your own voice back as your guided meditation. You'll actually find huge benefit in so many different areas, and you'll actually start to purge those negative thoughts that you tell yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, you know, we've kind of gone in depth, but it doesn't have to be difficult. You know, you can just sit in a comfortable position. You just close your eyes. You focus on your breathing in and out and in and out. And just focusing on your breathing will help you kind of get rid of the busyness of the thoughts that are running through your mind, because that's the problem, is that you can't quiet your mind down. So if you can focus on something that doesn't require you to be thinking, you know, like actively thinking, other than just, the breath in and then the breath out. It helps push all those other things out and helps you still your mind. And then as you get, further into it and better at it, especially as you're doing it without, the guided meditation part of it, then you'll be able to think about things as they occur, and not with emotion, and not with judgment, and not with, frustration or anger or bitterness or resentment or any of that kind of thing, or just even without being tired. I think you can just kind of let it come in your mind, see it for what it is, and then let it go, and take all that stuff, the negative feelings along with it, and replace them with feelings of calmness, serenity, and increase your vibration that way as well.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Jenny, you talk about practicing.
Well, I think this is one of the most important things where, if you know the book Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, he really talks about becoming the observer of your mind, where you're really in a position where you're observing your thinking mind. That voice in your head, where you can actually take a step back and really observe it. And, as soon as something comes up that is old programming that's not serving you, you can sort of step in and change it. And when you do that, when you become that observer of your thinking mind, you reach a higher level of consciousness. And what meditation also helps you with is really finding joy in life again, and really finding joy in the small things, like sitting there and just watching, flowers or a tree in the wind, and just really seeing the little miracles in your life again, and how grateful we can actually be to actually be on this planet and have this wonderful life, and really, going into being grateful again. And also, this is big too, responding to challenging in a calm and non-judgmental way, where you really have a lot of more compassion, and where you don't, go in straight away and judge people for the way they are responding. And and really coming back to that heart coherence, what Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, is really coming back to that heart space. And this is what meditation will really help you with, like living from your heart instead of your mind. Mm-hmm. You can go next, Wendy.
I'm trying.
Oh, was that it? No.
Not sure why it's not working.
While you're working on that, I'll just say that meditation also, just to put yourself in that state, you can actually be in motion and have slight meditation as well. So in practicing these techniques, you'll learn that sometimes it's even like if you're at the workplace and you're taking a walk, you can actually put your mind in a state where you start to focus on positive things, especially if you feel your blood pressure rising, or maybe the kids did something that's going to make you, completely lose it. You start to think about all the good things that happen. And one technique that is used a lot in marriages, of course, is that when you're actually ready to kill your spouse, start to just think briefly, like focus on all the good things and why you're with that person, and what makes you smile when you're around that person. And so you can do that sometimes, as you stated earlier, Jenny, with eyes wide open, and actually you can be in motion and still go into a slight state of meditation.
Yeah.
I did it.
And sorry?
I did it finally. It moved to the next slide.
Awesome. So I find it really helps you just become more peaceful, like you becoming less reactive to things, whereas before you might have been freaked out by something, whereas now you're just like, oh yeah, I can deal with it. It's just another thing coming and going. And that, that moment, yeah, that moments will come and go, and it's just the nature of things. There's always going to be duality, and there's always things going to be wrong, but we always have a choice how we react to it.
I just wanted to say quickly too, I agree with Robert, but what I was trying to talk to too is when I get stressed at work, I don't have time for like taking 15 minutes. So what I was trying to say is the sort of 30-second, even take a deep breath in, hold it, get the bad out, breathe in the good. That's what I was just trying to say, because some people, they don't have all that time in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, let me get down here. So like Robert said, thinking about positives, but also deep breath in, get it out. And it super helps.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is we're born with these techniques. It's just that we forgot them from birth till now, right? Because we're focused on all the other things. I mean, and the prime example is whenever you're faced with these issues, what do you do? Whenever you're stressed out, don't you naturally go, right? There's like, at some point, there's this like sigh that you give, and it's actually your body saying, okay, I've had enough. I need to purge.
Because you stop breathing for those moments of stress, and all of a sudden you realize you're not breathing, and then all of a sudden your body's going, whoa, breathe. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a little warning. If you really immerse yourself in this technique, you're really gonna change, and people are actually probably reacting to it because they don't understand how you can be peaceful in a situation that would really trouble you before. So I had that happening, where people say to me, are you not like anxious, or you not freaking out? And I'm like, no. And they like sort of get triggered by it because they're freaking out, and you're just sitting there. It's just like, yeah, but if I freak out, it doesn't serve me, I can't think straight when I'm freaking out. So
I was just thinking about that. Most people interpret that as you being a smartass.
yes, exactly.
But like whenever you're in that heat of the moment and you're just smiling, it's your reflection. It doesn't mean that necessarily you're giving off that vibe, but yeah, it's definitely an interruption. I mean, it definitely interrupts the situation, right?
Yes, definitely.
That reminds me of, times when people freak out, something is happening and it's out of their control. And I think about the time when I was on an airplane with my daughter. She was 6, I was 8 months pregnant, and we hit turbulence about an hour outside of the Atlanta airport. And the pilot came on and he said, the only way we can land is if we go through this storm. So he took us through the storm, and I mean, it was bad. People were falling, people started screaming, people started throwing up, people started crying, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what purpose does it serve to have a panic attack? Or, I mean, obviously if you throw up, I mean, that's just something that happens to people. But I thought, we're stuck in this situation. There's nothing we can do. There's nowhere we can go. We can't change it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And so it's, pointless to think the worst or feel the worst. And, chances are, of course, we obviously got through it. I'm here. My son was born, my daughter, but I just always sit and think about how does it serve you to react that way? What is it going to change? Is there a better way to try and get through the situation? And I realize nobody's perfect and everybody's different and everybody has their reasons for why they do and say the things that they do. But if you can just try and realize, okay, I can't change the situation, so what's the best way I can respond? Sometimes, it not only calms you, keeps you calm, but it can have a calming effect on the people around you as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely. And remember, guided meditation can also be written. That's something that we forget, meaning that based on what you said, Lorianne, if you don't have an allotted amount of time, it can be just something as, you know, some people read scripture from the Bible, right? It can just be something very simple, a verse that actually really transforms them. It can be just a daily quote that they have on their screen. All those things help kind of ground you as you're reading through, you know, the words and connecting with it.
And for those of you who think, you know, I just don't have the time to fit it in, you can do it at a stoplight. Obviously, you're not going to be able to sit there and close your eyes and all of that, but you can take the minute and a half or whatever that you sit at a stoplight and do the breathing, the in and the out, and try and, you know, think happy thoughts so you can raise your vibration. And every time you stop at a stoplight, you just take that time to, you know, try and remove a little bit more of your stress. So when you get home, you don't want to kick the dog or the cat. So.
Yeah. Or you just look around you and just think, you know, what is there that I can appreciate, you know? Is there anything around me that I can actually appreciate in that moment? And that will actually help you to get out of the funk as well.
Right.
So yeah, you wanna go next page?
Yeah, we'll try. There we go. Okay.
And this is just a little way to show you that it actually doesn't take a lot of time. And when you combine meditation and journaling, it's actually very powerful because you really, you know, tap into your unconscious. You stop the momentum. You raise your vibration, get new momentum going, and you can actually, you know, step forward in a more powerful way. So this exercise is you move for 5 minutes to really get back into your body. And you can do it whatever you want. You know, you can go for a quick walk, you can do some dancing, put some music on, and then you meditate for 5 minutes, you journal for 5 minutes, and then you meditate for 5 minutes. It takes you 20 minutes out of your day, and it can actually really, really benefit you in the long run.
I actually love this idea. I'm going to try this.
And if possible, try and do this exercise in the morning and at night. At the beginning of your day and at the end of your day. So that takes us to the end of our presentation for tonight. And so next week we'll focus on high performance habits. And then on the 20th, we'll focus on subconscious and along with limiting beliefs. Talk about how you can get rid of your limiting beliefs and become aware of what they even are, and then some techniques to get rid of them or change them. So does anybody have any questions or comments they would like to make before we...
What are some things that you're currently doing? Does anyone have an example of what they're doing in their daily routine that helps with either journaling or meditation?
I do. I've been writing a letter a day, or at least 2 letters a day to everybody. Some of them are longer than others. And then I have to put a stamp on it, and then I have to walk to the post office. So it's not only doing a little bit of journaling to somebody I'm sending it out to, but I'm also getting my walk in. And it's been great. And somebody at the end of it gets a little gift, so to speak. You know, their post office box is not about a bill. It's now about a little letter.
Wow. And you know what? When you're writing something that's positive to someone else, that actually is meditation. Because that's where your focus, right? Where your focus goes, energy flows, right? So I like that. Anyone else?
Well, if anybody else wants to, I'll give you my address and you guys can send stuff back to me too, so I can go to the post office. And when I drop something off, I go and open that mailbox and I see something else in there. It's so fun to get a letter.
Leslie, with your current business model, are you drawing most of your energy from obviously the content itself, right? Scripture?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I go straight to the creator that created all this that we've just been discussing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and, you know, in all his scripture, all the scriptures, all his words, you know, God's words are living and powerful. And the first thing he says is, set your mind on me. Set your mind on me and your peace and joy will come. And only worry about today, because we all know that tomorrow is not promised. And you're right, when you look at, you know, the world around you, it's creation, and he created it all for our beauty, for us to enjoy while we're here. So yeah, meditating on his word is for me the only way to have that peace that you were talking about, Wendy, even in storms. And your airplane story was so it actually grabbed me, because that's exactly what, you know, he says in his words, is that you are going to go through storms. It is guaranteed. If you are human and you're living a life, you're going to have battle scars and you're going to go through storms. But the difference is that he's already gone through it for you, and he's going to go with you. So you will come out it whichever way it's meant to happen.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else? Is Roy even still with us? Just kidding, Roy. I would love to hear.
I think he's listening. I think he can hear.
Okay. Okay.
But he's just, like, he just texted me, he's still having issues with that. But I do believe that he's actually can hear it, but he can't do anything more than that.
Wow, interesting. Exercise, which, by the way, is something that I need more of. Just going to raise my hand. I'm pointing at me. But that's the same thing as journaling, quite frankly. I mean, in the connection that, you know, when your mind is thinking of something and you're writing, I've heard of tons of people experiencing breakthrough through exercise and fitness, meaning that when they're sitting there doing repetitions and they're exercising or some type of routine, they're actually thinking about all of these positive things and trying to connect them together. So maybe if I did that more, if I connected the two together, maybe I could get on a better routine. Leslie, your fiance would be able to give us a little bit more insight, I think, on that. You said he's like a fitness addict, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll have him on someday, and he can give us some pointers. I definitely need him.
Yeah.
So
I don't let it bother me. I don't exercise.
You're like, you can have your dumbbells. I got Jesus.
That's right. I say that all the time. I always keep telling him, you're exercising the wrong muscle, but that's okay. He's still working on him.
Nikki and I have a really good exercise. We actually get online and we do our wine.
There is meditation in that, by the way. We won't get into all that, but there is meditation. Everything down to the sound of it, the smell of it, right? All the senses.
Yeah.
So maybe we should get online and I'll have an exercise doing that one day.
Okay, Nikki, I just wanted to say she did chat. She's not talking. I told her I actually kind of like on the side said, can you just like say something? Because she did actually agree to the fact that she knew some of the information and she has worked with, but you're muted right now, so I can't hear you. But she has done meditation, and so this is of interest to her. So I'm really glad she got to be on here today with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's hard to mute and unmute yourself when you're on your phone. So I went ahead and unmuted you, Nikki, if you want to say something.
No, it's been very interesting listening to everybody. And I have a few books by Abraham Hicks. And before that, it was Neil Walsh that kind of started it all for me. That book was given to me, Conversations with God, when I gave birth to my youngest daughter, and I didn't read it for 4 years. It was given to me as a gift by a close friend of mine, and I kind of put it aside, and I picked it up one day and I read it, and it actually changed my life. I'm extremely spiritual. I'm vegan. I take time to meditate and, try and clear all the negative thoughts that come through. We have a very happy vibe in our home. My girls are very much the same as me. And no, I think it's very important to take a little bit of time out in our day. You know, even if you think you don't need it, even just 5 minutes, you know, just to focus on your breathing, get your feet rooted into the ground. And I think it's just a great way to start your day, even if it's 5 minutes at work, you know, like while you're sitting at your desk. For me, it's changed everything in my life, like for the better. Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, we do our exercise.
Yes. Of course.
Kidding.
Of course.
So that's fun. She makes me laugh so hard my stomach hurts. Seriously.
For those watching, by the way, scrolling through Facebook first thing in the morning is not meditation. So I'm just putting that out there. Find yourself getting into something a little bit deeper, something that really makes you think, that has positive affirmations attached, such as scripture, such as positive quotes, and really even just books on meditation. There's some amazing books out there. I think, I can't even remember the name of it. The one I read years ago, The Power of Tao. Is that right?
Yes, The Power of Now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's an awesome book as well. This kind of helps ground you and even talks about breathing techniques.
Oh, and I also have, if you guys don't mind, but I was pulling through my stuff and I posted it on Facebook last night. But this, Leo Buscaglia writes all about love. He was actually the top guy about love. I don't know if a lot of people you guys know about him, but he was really big in the 1980s. So you guys are all too young for that. But really look him up. And my favorite one of all, and seriously, because it's good for business, and there we go. I pulled him out last night. Living, Loving, and Learning by Leo Buscaglia, and he was a doctor. And that one is just phenomenal. It's a great book, and
Awesome.
it's a happy book. So it's, you know, when you're reading it, it's inspiring, and it's about love, and it's I highly recommend it. Not a lot of people know about him anymore. He was really huge, like I said, before you guys were almost born. But I know I'm joking, but really, and I got to meet him too after years of writing to him, which was kind of neat. And back then they typewritten back letters. They didn't have computers, but I highly recommend it. I had forgotten about it, and last night a quote, which I sent to you, Robert, in the book, really reminded me that I should probably reread these books. They're really good. Okay, that's my.
What was the name of the book you mentioned?
I can put it in the chat, but this is it here. Living.
No, not that one. The one that Robert mentioned before.
The Power of Wow, of Now. I have that one too.
Tao. You said Tao.
It's in the chat. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Or he put it in the chat. Sorry.
Oh, you
No,
did?
I think it's a different one. It's T-A-O, Tao, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard
The Power
about that
of
as well. Tao, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's obviously, you know, am I muted? Oh, it's derived from a lot of Chinese proverbs and real thought-provoking things. Yeah.
Okay. I thought that's what you said, but I wasn't sure. All right.
Awesome.
Any other pearls or or nuggets of wisdom anyone wants to impart before we call it a night?
Ladies, I appreciate you putting this together. And there's definitely a couple techniques. I took a picture of a couple things. I'm going to try a couple of these little staged things. I've never done that before. I've never actually put it into a routine like that. So definitely.
Yeah, try the focus wheel. And if you want, you can post it in the group. If you like, I might do one myself and post it.
I do look beautiful in a blue dress. Just
yeah. Oh, there you go. Makes you feel better, doesn't it?
You might not raise your own vibration, Robert, but I bet you'll raise somebody else's.
I'm not going there.
That's a whole nother lesson to learn. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And Nikki, thank you for joining us. We'd love you to keep coming back. So
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So Nikki, I'll send you the link to join the ABC, and please, people, share the event. It's up there for next week. If you can, Leslie, Nikki, once you get on, share it with your friends, because next week is going to be just as fun and inspiring. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Ladies,
Thanks, guys.
thank you for coming.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See ya.